Thank you for joining my session. I'm a registered psychotherapist practicing in Ontario, and every day I'm trying to share some useful evidence-based research ideas and questions that you can use in your daily life to improve your mental well-being. Today we will be exploring and talking about resilience. Oftentimes when people feel overwhelmed, stressed, or under pressure, it's more difficult to stay present, resilient. And in this live session, we're going to explore some ways to stay resilient when life feels uncertain or demanding. Instead of trying to solve everything at once, we will focus on small, meaningful steps that you can take to keep yourself moving even when stress is present. And I will ask you simple questions and reflections to help you to reconnect with what matters for you and how to respond to difficult thoughts with more flexibility and develop self compassion during challenging moments. If you are navigating a stressful period and looking for ways to keep going, this conversation may offer a few useful ideas and questions to support you. So, if today's session was useful for you, what would you like to achieve as a result of watching it? And what would be useful for you by the end of these few minutes? What would you notice about yourself? Would you like to stay calmer when there is stress? Would you like to understand how to keep going even when stress is high? Maybe you want some ideas that help you to stay resilient today. And what would be a small sign that this time was helpful for you? Let's imagine that after listening to this change has happened. And even though life is still stressful, something shifted inside of you, and you begin to handle stress a little differently, and you start to stay steady even when things feel difficult. What would be the first small sign that resilience is growing in your life? Maybe you notice that you pause instead of reacting. Maybe you keep moving forward even when you feel uncomfortable. Maybe you take one step instead of giving up. And this how resilience might look like. It doesn't mean that stress is going to go away or there will be no problems, but its resilience means continuing to take steps even while stress and problems are present. And oftentimes, when our brain goes into alarm mode, it shifts into survival. And when there is a stressful situation or anything that makes you stressed, your brain struggles with big plans, complex strategies, or long term thinking. So instead of trying to change or fix everything at once, noticing your thoughts, feelings, and taking small actions can help you to feel calm and slowly help to feel safer and to take steps even during challenging times. Uh, your brain responds better for short, clear, actionable steps and small steps your mind can actually process. So instead of asking, how do I solve my entire life? A more helpful approach can be, what's the smallest step I can take today that moves me even a little bit closer to my goals or hopes? And when have I already handled stress in a way that I was proud of it? Maybe it was just a moment when you kept going. Maybe you did something that helped you to overcome these challenging feelings. And resilience often grows by noticing what's already working, even in small ways. You don't need to completely eliminate stress to move forward. The only thing you need is taking one small step that's possible today. So when problems arise, it's normal to feel not resilient, but resilience grows in that exact moment based on the small choices we make. And emotions oftentimes don't always shift on their own. And when we start taking action despite uncomfortable feelings, that's the point where we feel calmer, anxiety decreases. And we can use this strategy to help ourselves to feel calmer, more resilient at times when it feels hard. So, when you feel stressed, noticing your thoughts and acknowledging that it's a difficult moment, taking would help to send a safety signal to your nervous system and to your brain, and to start thinking about what's possible, about possible solutions possible ways of taking steps instead of staying stuck on uncomfortable feelings or thoughts you might have at that time. And sometimes when stress is high, certain sentences start running through your mind. Maybe you might have some thoughts: I won't make it, I'm ruined, no one understands me. And instead of fighting with these thoughts, trying to pause and become curious about them, and asking yourself, even though this feel really hard, what tells me I'm still here, still trying, still looking for a way forward? Have there been any times, moments when, small ones, when feelings felt just a little bit manageable after having a storm or after having very intense feelings? So, and if you go back and look into history, you would notice times when you felt very overwhelmed, anxious, stressed. However, you kept going, you kept doing things even when things were hard. And what exactly helped you during those moments? Was it a belief? Was it a thought? Was it a feeling? Other people's support, environments? What helped you to? What helped that resilient part of you to become stronger and become more active and to take steps even when these uncomfortable feelings were there? And what did you do that helped even a little? If you will remember about those moments, you will find a lot of resources and resilience that is already there, a wise, a resilient part of you that's already there. And you might have some insights that you can use to make this resilient, strong part of you to come out, show up more often. What's one small step that would show you are handling this situation even just a little bit? You are having a hard moment right now and you are still finding a way to take the next step. So, at times when it feels hard, instead of trying to fix everything, just taking smallest meaningful step. Maybe it might mean cleaning your desk, waiting, walking for 5 minutes, or opening and starting to read a book, even just for 2 minutes, or reaching out to someone. So instead of staying stuck with the feeling, noticing the feeling and thought you might have, and taking small action that's important for you can help you to calm down and change, become more emotionally regulated, and to create distance between the feeling and to notice about other possibilities. So when you finish, give yourself a mini feedback. Maybe you can write it down what you have started. Maybe it might mean writing reflections or journaling at the end of the day and noticing what went well. During times when we have stress, it might seem as if everything is so hard that there is nothing positive in our lives, but intentionally noticing moments that are going well and what we feel grateful for. Noticing these positivities would help to create more rational picture of our lives. And oftentimes you would notice that thoughts we have at times when there is stress are exaggerated, or at that times we are just focused on the problems and we forget about the bigger picture. We forget about about that we are not alone in our struggles, that there are a lot of more people who are struggling, all of them with their own problems, issues, and we are just part of something bigger. And even though our challenges, problems seem too big when we consider it from perspective of other people, or when we are reminding ourselves that we are not alone, these feelings would change in intensity. So even taking small steps whenever it feels hard teaches your brain that that you are safe, and helps to think about possible solutions and opportunities during crisis moments. So practicing these strategies and asking yourself these questions would help uh, to feel more regulated, to stay more resilient and patient during challenging times. Also, reaching out for people whom you care about, with whom you feel safe, and connecting socially is a powerful fuel for resilience. Stress, worry, and self doubt are normal human responses, and when life feels uncertain or demanding, instead of spending all our energy trying to eliminate, delete the feelings or thoughts, we can practice noticing them with a little bit more openness. You might try saying to yourself, stress is here right now, but worries showing up. However, possibilities are also here, and each time when there are challenges, at the same time there are opportunities, and maybe this challenge is going to make you stronger. Maybe it's going to open new doors for you, because not every challenge ends up with a trouble or with disappointment. Oftentimes, there are problems, but after the problem, we are becoming stronger, or we are able to see the problems, or we are gaining new perspectives, and that makes us more resilient. So, even for instance, according to research, when people are having difficult times, traumas, or dramatic life events, everyone is being impacted by it differently because of the way they create meaning from the experience, the way they think about the experience considerably shapes, influences their mental well being, and especially noticing about resources and using their resources during hard times might help to decrease the impact of stress and help you to protect yourself and to stay grounded, more emotionally stable during challenge. So anytime when you have a thought that you are a failure, you are broken, or something is wrong with me, notice what is present in this moment, and notice that this is just a thought, and it doesn't has to be reality. And you are not your thoughts, you are not your feelings. And also asking yourself what matters for you during these times when that are hard, how you would like to respond to these challenges, even if stress was still there. Which version of you would you like to see, and what matters enough to take one small step towards what's meaningful for you, even during challenging times. Maybe what matters for you today is responsibility. Maybe it's learning. Maybe it's caring for your health. Maybe it's being supportive to someone else. Resilience grows when we take small action in the direction of what matters, even when our emotions are uncomfortable. And there is always a part of you that can notice your thoughts, notice your emotions, and notice stress. And that observing part of you, sometimes called observing self, is steady and spacious, and it allows you to step back and say, I'm noticing the thought, I can't handle this. And instead of becoming completely trapped inside the thought, acting from the place of awareness and opening space for these feelings and being compassionate towards yourself brings possibilities into present moment. So noticing that this is a difficult moment and that many people would feel this way under pressure, and searching for ways of expressing kindness towards yourself are the first steps you can take during hard times. Resilience is something we practice through small psychological processes. As we have already discussed, noticing what's happening inside us, making room for difficult emotions, and reconnecting with what matters, as we have already discussed, how you would like to respond to different moments, whether it's caring for yourself, caring for others, continuing to learn, to grow, to develop yourself, and taking small, meaningful actions towards the things that matter for you. And each time when you do this, even in a small way, you strengthen your ability to handle future stress. So, resilience doesn't come from waiting for stress to disappear. It grows when you say, stress is here, and I'm still willing and able to take one step towards what matters, even when it's hard. And if you imagine yourself 6 months from now, looking back at this moment in your life, what would you like to tell to yourself? What would you like to suggest? What would you like to appreciate about the effort you are making today? Many people around the world are having difficult days right now, and if someone you care were going through exactly what you are going today, how would you respond to them? And What words of understanding might you offer? And what would it be like to offer even a small part of the same kindness to yourself? Noticing that this is a hard moment and that you are still here and still compassion. Self-compassion doesn't mean giving up. It exactly allows you to keep going with more steadiness and resilience. If this session was useful for you, don't forget to follow. And if you have any questions, please welcome to ask. I would be always glad to support you and to answer to your questions.